Right, back with Grand Tactician Civil War, the CSA campaign. And we are at the morning of the second day of the Battle of, not Alexandria, but the Alexandria port, which is where we engaged McDowell's Army of Northeastern Virginia. And that battle was initiated toward the end of the last episode, and we took a look at the map and the objectives and routes, all that sort of thing. And just to summarize, we started over here by Stewart's Hill. Objectives were over here, already owned by the Union. It was an attacking situation. As discussed at the end of the last episode, marched the army down this way. This was a Union entry point. Captured that, turned it Confederate. That prevented the reinforcing army under Patterson from coming up behind us in the rear. Continued, as discussed last time, along this route toward the objectives from the south. Stewart's cavalry came straight up the Warrenton Turnpike, crossed the run, caught sight of the Union dispositions. And they had some entrenchments, but on the other side of Bull Run from the two objectives, close, but on the other side. Brought Stewart back around, scouted out over here, and they had left the objectives clear, so was able to come up, formed the army right along in here, captured one of the objectives unopposed. There was no combat yesterday. There was a little bit of artillery fire, and that was about it. I don't even know if there were any casualties. Well, apparently, yeah, we actually inflicted 150 casualties just from a little bit of artillery fire. It's pretty open in here, and there's a nice rise where I was able to put McCown's artillery. And there is one, I don't know which one it is, but there is a battery of 10-pound Parrots here, so there's a little bit of range from at least one of the battalions. And our deployment line ran right across here, close enough where I had just enough engineering points. I used every last bit, 0.0, but was able to put a little bit of breastwork right here. And as soon as we get time rolling, if I just throw out skirmishers, that will capture I think it will capture the second objective, or at least make it contested. And hopefully that will instigate, goad the Federals from defending into trying to cross Bull Run at these two fords, primarily Blackburn's Ford, to recapture. Now, we saw in the last episode that doesn't, or not the last episode, the last battle, that doesn't necessarily happen. So they have to go to some sort of plan B. But that's the initial idea. I've got Walker's division in the breastworks sitting right here on Blackburn's Ford, including his horse artillery in the breastworks, and he's primarily there to deliver canister fire if they come across. And that was the only breastworks I could build during deployment. I've never actually done it, but I have read that there's a bug that kind of lets you build as many entrenchments as you want. I haven't seen that, and I wouldn't want to take advantage of that anyway. Well, you know what? I've got 0.0. Let's just test that real quick. Let's see if we are able to build another breastwork right here. Yeah. See, I should not have been able to build that with 0 engineering points. So that's... You know what, though? That's not complete. That is That's a planned breastwork. That is not built. Okay, well, maybe that was an old bug that got fixed at some point. I haven't read all the patch notes for all the updates that have happened over time. I haven't followed the game that close. So maybe that was an old bug that just doesn't exist anymore. But that's interesting. I did not know that you could plan entrenchments that during deployment phase that you then have to build once time starts running. So the next question will be, let's see if Evan's brigade starts working on that, or if I have to order him to do it. Huh. Okay. Longstreet's division is kind of here as he's sort of in reserve, kind of a flex division. These are the red-coated Hall's rifle guys. I think I mentioned this several episodes ago, but I don't normally fool around with the uniforms. But in this case, I decided what I would do is any infantry that has an unusually good weapon, something that is high rate of fire primarily, something even better than the normal infantry rifles like Enfields or Springfields. I'm putting them in red coats, and these are a high rate of fire, high firepower division. That's why they're in the red. They stick out a little bit better for me on the map. Nice position here for McCown's artillery, and then finally Stewart's cav. I've placed over here. And what I intend to do with them is run them over across the run at Island Ford and kind of keep an eye over here on the federal right. And also to have the cav in nice open ground for the later stage of the battle whenever we get to, hopefully, when we get to some sort of pursuit phase as the Federals begin to retreat. Which is really all I can do with him at the moment, because these are newer brigades, as I mentioned before, and they only have the Springfield musketoons. They do not have repeating or breech loading weapons. And with that, let's get time rolling. For some reason, it was showing play, and time was actually advancing a little bit during the deployment phase when I was still off camera. So that was kind of weird. Oh, we don't even have to put out the skirms. It's already capturing this objective point. And okay, so the Federals redeployed back here. They pulled out of this entrenchment line. Any enemy troops you see during the deployment phase is last known position as from the previous night when sunset occurred. So as soon as you hit play, they may change position. Okay, let's get Stewart moving over here. And actually, cover works in both directions on fortifications. These aren't manned. So we could actually come up here, and this would provide cover from this side of the entrenchments as well. I don't know if the cover is as good as it would be facing the correct direction, but it's something. It should be at least yellow, if not green, cover, if we moved up here. Of course, we're facing right into entrenchments. I don't know if that's what I want to do yet. I am hoping that they attack me. Okay. Now. So he didn't just maybe if I right click, will he start building? Yeah, there he goes. So that's good to know. You can plan your entrench. You can, even if you can't build them, you can plan your entrenchments during deployment. I did not know that. That's a good little tip. I doubt gonna need these breastworks, but yeah, it's a way for the brigade to get a little XP toward their perk slot. Okay. I don't think they're gonna do anything. Kind of like we saw in that battle in Missouri. They're going to have to be goaded into combat somehow without you know, obviously we cannot frontal attack into that. Even if it were open ground, like over here, if they were manning this one, it would still be terrible to go straight at them. But this would be even worse because there's woods, we can't cross the run, you know, we have to funnel. Is that a ford or... yeah, it's a ford. It's called Blackburn's Ford. You know, it would take forever to get through here. Cohesion would suck. We would all break en route. Sitting right here without even... So that's no good. This route... Oh, the other thing is this was a federal entry point as well, right on our flank, so Longstreet was able to pop a brigade over there and capture that as well. Patterson is on the field somewhere. That report came through. Patterson arrives. So we've got the full 40,000 men to our 27, almost 28. And that's why we can't do like a real, you know, frontal attack. Take a lot of casualties. Gonna have to do this slow somehow. Obviously this route's no good. No roads, creeks, woods, and still entrenchments kind of facing this way. That doesn't look good at all over here. But it doesn't look good for them to flank us either. So, you know, at least our right is firmly anchored. So I think the thing to do is we're going to have to get some infantry out over on this side and work on the federal right somehow. I would really much prefer that they come across this. You know, let's put some skirmishers out. See if that, you know, once individual units are engaged in some form of combat, sometimes that causes them to leave their cover as individual commanders' initiative starts taking over. It's a strong position they've got over there. And because, you know, there's a lot of woods in here, this battery was only here for canister fire. And since they're not coming across, he's really got nothing to do right now. I doubt this is going to have the desired effect. It's worth at least a try. I don't know if they're going to have range to shoot across to the entrenchments anyway. This is a lot of open ground over here. No cover. Even if I got 2 divisions of infantry over here, I think even coming kind of in this direction, I think they're still going to take a lot of casualties. But you know what? We have a minor victory now. We don't need to attack. Maybe the best course of action is to simply just go to the end of the 3rd day, take the minor victory. McDowell will still have to retreat. And we would still take Alexandria, which was the whole point of this. So, you know, maybe just sitting here in fortifications looking at each other with red objective points, maybe that's fine. I know that'll make for a long, boring video, but that may be the smart thing to do. I feel very George Gordon Meade saying that. Kind of post Gettysburg or Mine Run. Jefferson Davis might be mad at me for saying that. Let's get this cav over here, see if we can scope out a little bit more of what's going on the federal right. Yeah, I don't think these skirms are even... They can't even shoot. Oh, just outside the... Okay. No, those skirms gonna get eaten up in that ford. Something's moving over here. It's just putting out skirms. There's a little bit of cavalry coming out. Let me turn that game sound down just a little bit. There. Come on down, Cav. No? Oh no, that's not a skirm. That's a little brigade. Is that an order line? Yeah. I should have just moved the cav brigades instead of waiting for the order. It's not hugely time critical anyway. Let's see if... Okay. Our artillery should all be able to range this little clump right in here. Let's order them to bombard this area. That order's taking a long time to get over to Stewart. Predictably enough, that's pretty far away. Alright, so we've made them kind of react a little bit, but not enough to come across the ford. Now, when time started running, there was one blue objective and one red, and it was a meeting engagement. We've now shifted that to defense. He's not reacting to that now, but maybe on the morning of the third day, he will. What is this guy? Oh, he's finishing that breastwork. So he was at 150 at the time we pushed the skirm, so we've inflicted 50 casualties between the artillery bombardment and the skirmishers. And we have taken 19, 13. So we're... I mean, it's insignificant numbers, really, but we are ahead on casualties. Significantly higher morale than the Federals. And I think that's primarily due to the fact that we are fighting in Virginia. So they're taking that fighting spirit and morale nerf for fighting on enemy territory. Whereas we are defending our homes from the Yankee invaders. Where'd that tell Stuart to go? Okay. It's a little bit more. So it looks like his positions at least go as far as his creek. Nope. Kept my eye off the skirms. Yeah, let's go ahead and pull the skirmishers in. They're not really doing what we wanted. I don't think I have to move troops all the way around to Island Ford, though. Since he's vacated this line, I do think we've got room here to cross Mitchell Ford without taking fire, other than maybe some artillery fire. These guys have scouts out? No. Donaldson did. McBride did not. Just trying to get a little more vision here. think it's a pretty reasonable assumption that there is a solid line of units all the way across here. Just, yeah. We're slowly inflicting a few casualties with the bombardment. This building is getting wrecked. Hopefully that's the house or the barn of some unionist traitor and not a loyal Virginia secessionist. Right, so what I'm going to do is I am going to put a cut in here and kind of edit out the stalemate. My plan is to just stay in position through the end of the second day and see what happens after redeployment on the morning of the third day. I don't think everyone needs to watch all the way through, what is that? About 11 or 12 hours game time of that. So I will cut back in and start recording if something happens here on the second day. Otherwise, we'll see you on the morning of the third day. I know it's pretty passive, but right now we have the minor victory. If nothing happens, McDowell retreats and we take Alexandria. So, you know. So anyway, that's the plan, and see if and when something happens. Okay, well, I've run time for a couple hours. The bombardment is continuing from McCown's artillery on the federal entrenchments. But, as I mentioned, things started happening. There's now federal infantry moving down this road. Don't have vision on all of it. There's kind of a dip in here where apparently we can't see. But there's some forces moving down this road this way toward, I assume, toward Island Ford. And quite a few Federals are starting to come down this way. So it looks like they're trying to flank us. This over here, not terribly concerning. I took Walker's Reserve Brigade, and he is now turned and is kind of forming a breastwork here in case their intent is to just come right in here and put flanking fire on our breastwork line. And I've also reoriented Longstreet's division. He is now kind of moving over in this direction to cover McLean's Ford. Coming through here, no road, woods. There's at least one creek that has to be crossed. Yeah, they're crossing the creek on the road and then coming across this way. They're going to lose a lot of cohesion, get a lot of fatigue in here, and then this is not a bridge, it's a ford that they have to try to cross. And these are our Hall's Rifle troops. As this develops, I am very confident that this is going to be more than enough. And once the troops get here, which Daniel already is, I think they're going to have plenty of time to put up a few breastworks before the Federals get over here. That ought to be enough. The breastwork doesn't really need to be as long as the entire brigade. He'll still get the green cover bonus right in here. And I had also moved Longstreet's horse artillery up here to join in the bombardment, but he's now under orders to come back over here and get some close range artillery support. Hopefully within canister. Once he's here, I'll take a look at his firing arc and try to get him close enough without being blocked by the brigade that is coming here to put canister fire on this ford. If I understand correctly, troops can cross these little creeks, but I don't think they can cross Bull Run except at a ford or a bridge. So, this is not too worrisome at all. On the left flank, that's a little bit more problematic. You know, we don't have enough troops to kind of... This is pretty wide open over here. There's a lot of creeks. It's a long way to march and some creeks to cross. I don't know that we've got the... You know, this is a lot of area to cover. And just got Barksdale's infantry division to cover it. Which he can probably do, it's just don't quite know where to set him up yet. Are these forces going to cross at the ford and then come straight this way? In which case, Barksdale can reorient here, and that's a pretty good defensive position, I think. Or are they going to come all the way back around via this road? Which there's, you know, we can defend kind of here. That would be okay. I'm not worried about the defense itself as much as I just don't know where to send Barksdale now. And I won't for a while. So I think it's just a matter of Stewart keeping an eye on what these guys are doing. They're pulling back for now. I don't really want them engaging as for reasons I've already mentioned. They don't have the weapons for it. They may have to a little bit. Anyway, that is what is going on. We're up to 500 casualties, so the bombardment is having an effect. And still 70% ammunition in the artillery. I may let them burn another 10% or so, and then I may reorient them over here. Kind of in this area where they can bombard. I mean, it's pretty much a given. They're gonna, the federal troops coming down trying to get to this fort, they're gonna have to clump in this area. And if McCown has his batteries kind of, they need to be high enough, kind of right in here, they should be able to bombard that over the heads of Longstreet's division. Yep, I hear musketry somewhere. Where's that coming from? Stewart engaged? No? Oh, skirmishers are getting some shots on this flanking attack. They are coming in force through very non-advantageous terrain for them. This kind of worked out. Let's get Withers working on some breastworks here. I want to extend them far enough that the artillery can sit in the... I want to reorient that a little bit. Something more like... Come on, there you go. Let's see if I can get the... Does that work? No, only goes that far. Tiny bit of kind of red there. Alright. So let's get this battery right about here. Which is a little exposed. He may take some losses. But hopefully this is close enough for canister fire on that forward. Oh no. Maybe they're not intending to cross all the way down there. That's okay too. Okay, they have stopped this movement. Taylor was the lead brigade on that route, and he is going back the other direction. So let's get our scouts back out. Again, I know I'm kind of a broken record, but I'm just using the Cav to keep an eye on the overall federal position. Okay. I think we need to reorient the core artillery to deal with this. They've done alright. They've inflicted almost 500 casualties. Some of that came from... most of that 600 casualties came from the bombardment. Let's limber them up. Yeah, some forces are coming. They are all coming this way. In line, which is going to further increase their fatigue. Less fatigue from march order. That's why I use it so much. This division doesn't appear to be using the road, so they're going to cross two creeks. How's that skirm doing? It's kind of doing okay. And these are just skirm detachments they're using to kind of screen the movement, I think. They're not going to try to cross. I don't think they can, to be honest. Ooh. What's going on up here? Is that Patterson's Corps coming up? Clearly, Barksdale is not in a position to contribute jack squat at the moment. I just don't know where to put him yet. I don't know whether I should cross him here. You know, I think I will. I'm at least going to go up to this entrenchment line, which will provide him some cover. And so, you know, that's kind of reorienting our line kind of like this. I'm going to go ahead and do that. I don't know what that was. Cook's just finishing his breastwork there, I think. I hope. Let's pull that skirm in. He's getting a little toasty. Ew. They've got enough forces here that the objective is now contested again. Okay, let's put these skirms back out. This horse artillery battery was still bombarding. Fire at will. Limber up. Just barely in canister range, right at the ford. Okay, that's close enough. I don't want to move them up anymore. Oh, there are actual brigades across Blackburn's Ford now. Pull that skirm in, give him some proper full brigade fire. I guess I was wrong. I guess it is possible to cross not at a ford on Bull Run. Cock is taking a long time on that entrenchment. However, he does have the cover bonus, so fine. So does Daniel. I don't know if Jones is really going to be able to fire on anything from this position. Okay, this brigade is wavering. Early has taken very few casualties, so that's going fine right there. Okay, there's one routed brigade. I probably should have put Barksdale's troops in march order before I brought them across that ford. Some of these forces are now coming back in this direction. Yeah, that guy's coming back. Looks like this brigade simply took up a defensive position. These guys are moving back. Don't know what that guy's doing. So it looks like they've thought better of this flanking maneuver. So, what I'm going to do, I'm not going to pull back completely, but I am going to kind of scooch Longstreet a little bit over this way. And I'm going to reorient Jones's brigade back over here in case he's needed. So far, Walker's division is doing just peachy. But they may run low on ammo. I think this has to be Patterson's Corps, having entered way back here, just now getting to the combat area. That's what that looks like to me. We're up to 1,300 casualties, which is only 3.2% of his force. They do have cover in here because of the forest. How's this skirm doing? he's starting to take some casualty and cover morale debuffs. I'm going to go ahead and pull him in. How are these guys doing? Low cohesion on Buckner's brigade. Disrupted for Holmes. Evans looks like he had the same, but he's recovering pretty good. So as soon as they're up here, and just give them a second to recover, and they'll be fine. And then maybe we can move them in here and provide some flanking fire on these guys from across. Matter of fact, I'm going to go ahead and get Evans in position to do that now. For some reason wants to go over in march order. I don't think so. Let's kill that order. Why are you doing that? There is still some artillery back here in the entrenchments. That sucks. I completely neglect. What is our core artillery doing? Nothing. Well, you know what? Now that he's coming across Blackburn Ford, let's unlimber again. And let's switch our bombardment to here. There, how do you like those? How do you like that? Hopefully they can fire in there. I'm seeing artillery burst above Evans, but I don't see that he's taking artillery fire in the debuffs. Do not understand why the game wants to move him in march order. I definitely don't want him doing that. What are you doing? That is a mess. Okay. I think it's doing that because they're moving into position, and that's kind of the mode that they're in. I don't know. I'm going to wait till they're all in position and then give them the move order. Early's doing fine. Just got to keep an eye on their ammo. Maxie's engaged now. How's this artillery? Okay, the artillery's getting a little bit toasty. Now it's raining. Move them back just a little bit. I don't want them. Ah. Where's Beauregard? Get him up a little bit closer to his subordinate commanders. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to change his formation orders, trying to clear things so that he'll actually put units in line. It's a little frustrating. Okay, I don't need these guys down here anymore. Let's get this battery limbered up. Let's at least get this brigade back across the creek. Oh, just lost the horse artillery. Ouch. Okay, 2 batteries have got vision. Don't know if this one does. Is that a range thing? Should be. Okay, they've taken that objective back. Let's get, I'm gonna go up and put this brigade here. This guy's limbered up. Let's get him across the... Let's get him over here. I don't remember telling these guys to do this. I think that's some initiative coming into play. Did I order that? I don't think I did. Early's getting a little toasty. Cock is doing okay over here on this flank. I'm going to go ahead and move. There's a little bit of a gap here on the breastworks where the artillery was. Let's get some Hall rifles into this equation. And then I thought I had ordered this guy to move. I did not know that was this other. So he's moving into here. So let's get Daniel up right behind Early. And by the time Daniel gets there, we'll back Early out. and let Daniel take his place on the works. Maxie is still doing fine where he is. For artillery, I need to move this battery though. Because I don't think he's actually getting shots. He's got bombardment orders. He's just not actually firing. Let's see if we put him here. He's losing a little bit of elevation that way. I don't know if that'll be any better. A lot of tired federal troops in here behind their firing line. This brigade is wavering. That 1st Cavalry can't last too much longer, taking almost up to 50% casualties. Koch has broken this brigade over here. And now that we've moved out of that, what are these guys doing? Nothing fast. I'm not too worried about that for now. Yeah. Daniel's arriving just in the nick of time. It's about time for Early to pull back out. Wait for Daniel to assume position. 6th Brigade has picked up a fair amount of experience here. Okay. So let's pull Early out. Fall back. And then we're going to move 2nd Brigade up onto the line. Let's get Longstreet closer. His whole brigade his whole division is up here now. Maxie is still doing fine right where he is. So Withers won't be immediately needed. What's going on with these fellas? See if we can get Holmes like that. Buckner is not engaged. Let's kind of move him back over like this. See if we can find a spot for this artillery. About like so, I think would be good. Oh, I forgot to move this artillery. Ah. Where's a good spot for him? I don't want to put him right back in that breastwork. This guy needs a... Oh, right, yeah. Let's see if he can join the bombardment from there. Don't know if he will. get that horse artillery battery right in here. See if he can do anything. So just the presence of the cavalry looks like has kind of induced these guys to stop their march and form up over here facing them. That's fine. Okay. Holmes has got cover in these abandoned parapets. Duking it out with Federal 2nd Brigade. Cock is still engaged, firing on these units over here. That works out. He does have guys coming up on his flank, though. He's actually getting the flanking debuff there. He's not actually taking fire yet. Okay, Maxie is down into the orange for ammo. Kind of okay on loss and morale and resilience, but let's go ahead and pull them out. And get Withers up in here. I'm actually going to put him forward to the breastworks. I don't think there's really any good shots from that particular location yet. So he'll go up past here and start delivering fire. We're getting close to our... Need to just get these casualties done. That's largely going to come from Longstreet's brigade now with their breech-loading rifles. Aha! Purcell Artillery is joining in the bombardment now from that new location. Let's get Buckner about like so. Battery still moving into position. His LOS may be blocked by Withers' brigade. These guys retreating? Looks like it. Okay. Seth Stewart, let's pull in these scouts. And start getting the cav in position for pursuit. Buckner here. And we've got kind of a... They're about to go into retreat mode, but they're not going to be moving fast. In these woods and across this ford. We should be able to convert this to a major victory during the retreat phase, I hope. Let's move him up a... I don't want him blocking that artillery's fire, but I want to keep him firing. Frankly, more casualties are going to come from infantry fire anyway. Okay. So basically all these units, I just want to keep them firing. They all are, so we're okay there. We'll just keep these guys bombarding, but I need to adjust that circle a little bit. And it's wonky to try to change from bombardment to bombardment. I need to shift them back to, well, I've got both fire at will and bombardment. This guy might have defaulted to fire at will when he unlimbered. So let's just give everybody a momentary counter battery fire. And that's only because you can't go from bombardment to bombardment. It doesn't work well. And there's only 33 minutes left. .4%, need to get to 22. Should do it. Get the cab over here near this road, which is their exit route. Okay, now bombardment. That may have been all too late. Stewart needs to move up. Let's get Longstreet's division advancing through here. Try to mainly just trying to keep them firing. That's all. Right on the edge. Just a few more. 19 minutes. Longstreet's guy's low on ammo. That is the Achilles heel of the fast-firing rifles. That rate of fire, they burn through their ammo. Jones's brigade has picked up a couple stars. Looks like Jones himself has too. 4 stars for his own experience. I thought I had ordered Daniel to advance. Get up in there. Okay, major victory. Almost 24% casualties. See if McBride can take out that retreating artillery battery. With his musketoons. Got the objective back. Not that that's particularly significant. I'll break those guys with 1 minute left. You can do it. No? Charge him again. Guess not. Well, then shoot at him. Do something. Okay. Alrighty then. Alright, so we took almost 2,000 casualties, almost all of it infantry. Which makes sense. Lost a little, lost 66 cavalry somewhere. Right there at the end somehow. Did lose the 8 guns. We had the 1 horse artillery battery on the breastworks that took a lot of fire and routed. And that's pretty much what I've seen. It seems like on breastworks or parapets, the artillery, I don't know if they get that much cover. It shows them in cover. You get the yellow or the green little icon. But I've always seen they just seem to kind of get wrecked. So I don't know if I'm going to do that. It almost seems like they take more fire. They may be getting the cover, but it seems like maybe they attract more fire from being on the fortification line like that in the first place. So while they may be getting the cover, they're getting more attention. It's just what it seems like to me. So that may not be a great idea to position artillery like that. They need to be a little bit back. Make sure that there's an infantry target that can take fire instead, because an infantry brigade can stand that kind of attention a lot better than a little, especially like a little horse artillery brigade that only has around 100 or even less men to start with. Okay. So we are still confident morale after that. The Army of Northeastern Virginia is unstable, as well they might be. McCown's artillery, best division. Okay, so with all that bombardment, let's see how they did. 861. for artillery in this game. That's not bad at all. Walker's division, that was the division initially up on the breastworks, 4,000 casualties. Well done to those guys. Unlike all the other Confederate units, the initial starting brigades are numbered, not like Early's brigade or whatever. I don't remember who Early was. So he's 6th Brigade. Maxey was on Early's left, and Koch was kind of on the refused right flank position. They all did well. Early and Maxey more than Koch, but Koch was protecting from the flanking fire from across the river and did a fine job there. That horse artillery battalion did do well over 100 casualties from that position on the breastworks with just 5 guns before he broke, so I'd say he did his job. And hopefully the Polignac doesn't get defamed from the rout. I hope not. He doesn't deserve to. And then Longstreet's division. After they relieved Walker's division on the line, they did almost 4,000 casualties themselves. From 2nd and 3rd Brigade, which are Jones and Daniel. Which makes sense. Those were the guys up initially on the breastworks. Withers came up later. And Barksdale did eventually get around on the flank. $13.50 for Barksdale, so they did fine. Stewart's Cav did a few casualties at the end during the pursuit phase. Hopefully we get some decent weapons for Stewart's Cav pretty soon. Almost to the point of maybe hunting through the other armies and swapping some weapons around. I may do that off camera. Because Stewart's Cav was in a pretty good position throughout that entire thing to have contributed a little bit more. I just didn't feel like he had the weaponry to do it. I mean, the whole, basically, and I'm not saying anything that people don't know. You know, the combat power of cavalry comes from their, typically, comes from the rate of fire of their weapons, which all the cavalry stuff is shorter ranged, but when they do get in range, they deliver a lot of fire very quickly. And that's the way to use cavalry from a combat perspective. And right now, Stewart's Cav can't do that. Okay, well, that turned into a pretty long episode, even with the edit out, but we're finally able to get McDowell to move out of his breastworks, and it did not work out well for him. And we should very soon be capturing the city of Alexandria back. Now, because it's Virginian, I don't know if that will constitute in itself a national morale hit for the Union, but it should definitely increase our morale and increase support in the state of Virginia. And of course, he took a national morale hit of well over a point from the battle itself. Okay, I don't see a headline on de Polignac getting defamed. Before I end the episode, let's see how close. Yeah, Price hasn't moved that far. His route has to take the road. Sometimes I see where they'll march right along the rail bed of a rail connection, and then sometimes they don't. I guess it's probably slower, like better than going through forest, but not as good as a road. So I guess Price decided it would still be quicker to go this route, but he hasn't moved that far. And that will do for this episode. Thank you very much for watching.